What's your most NSFW family moment? One Thanksgiving. Many years ago, my mom got the bright idea that, before eating we would go around the table and everyone would share what they were thankful for. My dad told her repeatedly that he wasn't doing that, and that was a bad idea, but she insisted. So we are sitting there at the table waiting to see what happens. My whole family was in attendance, brother, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, and my grandmother. My dad volunteers to go first, and the look on my mom's face is one where she's trying to decide if she should be worried about what he's going to say, mixed with wondering if he just decided to play along. My dad says, "I'm thankful that I'm 50 years old and I can still get a rock hard erection." Half the table died laughing. Half the table was uncomfortable. My mom was pissed, and my dad got exactly what he wanted and stopped that whole process in its tracks. Then it was dinner time. Your mom should have seen it coming equals P. I bet she has. Went to tell my brother that a classmate of ours had passed away. He didn't answer when I knocked, so I assumed he was sleeping and opened the door. Wrong. He was jacking off with headphones on. I managed to leave and close the door without him knowing I was there. Now that classmate is forever linked in my mind to my brother jacking off. My mom came home one day to a giant pair of tits flapping up and down in the computer screen with the volume on high. Coincidentally, my brother was the only one home that day. Was having a wank when my dad walked in. Shocked, I turned around. I was clothed. Just had my dong out. He asked what I was doing. Startled, I said nothing. "Are you doing drugus?" That shocked me more than him finding me wanking. I told him no, and I said I was checking my balls for lumps. "Oh, okay then," and left. Nothing more said about it. Step 1. Breathe the drugus in through your penis. My mom gave me a kidney, and during our recovery she really wanted to see me, but the hospital wouldn't let her because she had complications from the surgery and was pretty out of it, but somehow she managed to slip out of her room and come find me. Mind you, I was on a completely opposite floor from her, so IDK how the duck she found me. But anyway, it was my first official day eating solid foods, so I was pretty excited until she got there. While I was eating, here comes my mom into my room, and for some reason she decided it was the perfect time to undress. I mean, full frontal view of my mom, bush and all, and she goes, "Michael, look at what they did to me. Look at these scars." Needless to say, I will never eat Fruit Loops again and not be reminded of my mom's bush. I was having trouble with my radiator and had no toolbox, so I asked my dad if I could borrow his. He came over and said he'd fix it for me. I hadn't had time to clean up since he only lives 2 minutes away, so he started reading me my rights about how messy my house is, etc., etc. As he was lamenting over my clothes being on the floor, he opened my wardrobe to demonstrate how much room I had. In my wardrobe, there is a box. My dad looked down at the box. The box was open. The box was filled with fetish gear and FX toys. My dad closed the wardrobe and fixed my radiator. Oh god. This is very similar to a moment that still has me cringing. I was moving, and my parents decided to help me move. My girlfriend and I have a fetish box as well. Strap on, pumps, about 10 feet of rope, butt plug, lube, rings, all the necessities. Well, my GF, bless her heart, thought it would be funny and stealthy to label the box books, but the two us having eyes like boobs. Yay, we're mature. Anyway, I'm in the new place unpacking boxes and my dad walks in with a books box. Rob Stark deserved it. This box is really light for books. Let me make sure you got the right box here. No, I know what's in there. It's fee. He cuts the box open and it's all there. I'm positive the stench of so many fluids have just invaded his nostrils. He just stares for about 20 seconds, taking it all in. At this point I've gone past being ashamed. I'm ready for him to berate my asexual desires. He closes the box and just walks away, which felt more like I'm just disappointed more than anything. About 20 minutes goes by and he comes back in and just asks me, "No warm up. Why do you need another dong?" Well, it feels good. At that moment I realized my father, a rigid, military, right-wing, had no idea what a strap-on was, and that opened up a ducking can of worms. When I was 12 to 13, at a hotel room with my parents for a basketball tournament, gold medal thanks for asking, they ducked in the bed right next to mine. 10 minutes after lights out. I never mentioned it to anybody. Last weekend I was visiting New York City, and lo and behold we share a hotel room. They ducked. Again. No way babe. Oh come on. He slept through it the last time we did at that basketball tournament. My grandma told my whole family at dinner that she had sex on the beach once. When asked when, she replied, when I was 76. Not me but my cousin who has a bit of a drinking problem was staying at our grandparents' house for a local festival. She proceeds to get hammered drunk and walks home. Walks in the door, goes to the bathroom, and gets naked and crawls into bed. The problem is that it wasn't in the room she was sleeping in. It was in my grandparents' room. So crawled in next to my grandfather naked. And he just let it happen. Nah, he woke my grandmother up, and they both snuck out of the room and went to sleep in the spare bedroom. It was one of those things that no one in the family should know, but everyone in the family knows. I was at my first real girlfriend's house when I was in high school. We would have sex in the basement, finished basement, when her family was home to avoid any walk-ins. After I finished, it was common practice to tie the condom in a knot and avoid throwing it in the trash bin to avoid the mom finding it when she was cleaning. So I left it on top of the ping pong table thinking I could take it upstairs with me. When we decided to leave, the ping pong table was right next to the couch. Well, I ducked up. Her father and little brother thought it was a good time to go downstairs and play ping pong. The brother gets to the table first, sees the used rubber, picks it up, the load of semen just dangling there, holds it out, turns to his father and says, "Dad, what is this?" The dad's face was of sheer terror as he screamed at his son to drop it, grabbed his wrist, and stomped upstairs, all while not breaking eye contact with me. I guess that instilled a fear of birth control into the poor girl. She got knocked up in college by a man her dad's age. Mom walked into the bathroom when I was having some personal time. It's been 6 months, and we still avoid eye contact. Well yeah. That means that you've established dominance. The world is your wank space now. Yeah, I've got to go do it in other rooms now to keep that dominance. Just act natural and make like nothing is different. Try the kitchen, living room, and then, when you are ready, mom's bedroom. While she's sleeping and wakes up to see you. After that you'll have established complete dominance of the whole house. Then it's time to move on to the rest of the world. I was back in town to see my family, and I met up with my dad and stepmom. They were out drinking with some of our closest family friends. Well, after about an hour or so they are getting pretty drunk and rowdy. I notice the women, including my stepmom, start getting real flirtatious with each other. Mind you, there are 5 couples including my parents at this gathering. I watch it continue, and I have to admit I'm a little uncomfortable seeing all these people I grew up around being overly asexual in public and in general. After a while I finally said, "What the duck is going on here?" to my parents. My stepmom started laughing and replied drunkenly with, "To be honest, you're the only one in this room I haven't ducked." Needless to say, I left quickly after that. I was caught mid-wank by my sister's then boyfriend, who was living with us at the time. I covered things up quick enough, which was a good thing as I was wanking to a pun mag I found under his bed. When I was around 13, I was in bed awake on the couch in our mobile home. Main bed went to my mother and 2 single beds in one room went to my sister's. My cousin and her fiance were staying with us that night on the only other bed, which was the table converted into a bed in the sitting room / kitchen room I was in. When they got home from being out on the town, I pretended to be asleep. I heard them start looking around for something and saying they couldn't find, and it sounding very disappointed. I jokingly thought to myself, AWW, they're mad because they can't find a condom. 5 minutes later they found what they were looking for. 2 minutes later they having sex about 3 feet away from me. At one point I got a dead arm and had to adjust myself. I gave them both a heart attack but they still didn't know I was awake. Edit. Sister should have been plural. My mom chased my teenage brothers around the house inside and out with a dildo once. I had the chance to ask my brother about it later. He was pissed about it at the time, but I was like 6. And my mom was laughing so much, so I thought everyone was having a good time. Looking back at it, I can see why he was pissed. Mom's dildo. And why she thought it was so funny. Good memories. At our extended family's Christmas party one year, when I was like 8 years old, my aunt wanted to show my family the video she took on their latest vacation. Except when they start watching the VHS, it suddenly cuts to a video that my 16-year-old cousin, her son, took of a bunch of girls flashing their boobs. Apparently he had a house party while his mom was on a work trip and accidentally taped over his family vacation. So here are like 20 family members watching my cousin's own personal Girls Gone Wild video. Needless to say, he was in trouble. My husband and I had to move in with his parents for about 3 months when we were having financial issues. As I have the very last bag in my hand ready to move to our new home, I sat the bag on the living room floor and went to the bathroom. When I came out, something was going off in the bag. I said it's probably our son's Thomas the Tank Toy. My mom-in-law dives right in and pulls out my vibrator and holds it up for like 30 seconds, like she's the Statue of Liberty holding up her ducking torch. My father-in-law and brother-in-law were also right there in the room. Needless to say, they still bring it up, and Thomas the Train is now code for vibrator in that family. Not my story. A friend of mine from high school. His whole family went to Colombia for Christmas vacation and he fell in love with a girl out there. They went out on a few dates and kissed and stuff, but didn't have sex yet. Then one night, they were having a party at his family's house. Everyone was partying outside, so the two of them, 17 years old and a bad combo of drunk and horny, snuck back into the house to have sex for the first time. They start going at it, then the whole family basically walks in on them, laughed their raises off, and walked right back out. After being long distance all throughout college, they got married a few years ago and just had their first kid last year. When I was a kid, around 8 the PlayStation was in my parents' room and we usually went to that room to play Gran Turismo with my little brother, which essentially consisted of driving a Suzuki Escudo at full throttle, never hitting the brakes once for the duration of the race, and still whining one lap ahead from everybody. Once he got angry about something and threw his controller away, detaching it from the console, and it ended up landing on my parents' wardrobe. We were small, so we tried climbing on the thing to get to it, and ended up making a lot of the stuff on there falling on us. I felt a soft object hitting my forehead. It looked like a really big darn. My brother took it from the ground wondering what that was. I took it from him and yes, that was definitely a penis. Innocent me back then thought it was supposed to go on a mannequin or something, because I had never seen a mannequin naked and figured mannequins had penises too. For some reason I instinctively threw it back up the wardrobe, but my little bro had already dashed downstairs telling my parents we found something strange in their bedroom. So my parents dashed upstairs and asked me what it was. I told them we found something that looked like a plastic horse dung and threw it back up. Since then we've had the PlayStation in our room. Thought it would be a good idea to make breakfast for my dad and stepmom. Cooked it all, got it ready, and brought the plates in, and thought bringing it in unannounced would be a wonderful surprise. I was not greeted by smiles. Instead I was presented by an image that is forever burnt into my mind. My dad under the covers obviously plugging away with my stepmom's head hanging off the side of the bed with her eyes closed and showing me her O-face. I retreated quickly, but my brain went, well, better put that in permanent storage and make it one of the clearest memories possible. Don't worry, you won't be forgetting any detail at all. Apostrophe. Like this video and this good boy will be your mailman forever. We are Redditation, and we redditate every day. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a wonderful day, you magnificent people.